What's good, everybody? Today, I'm going to be talking to you about conditional statements. So, a conditional statement is composed of two parts. So, a conditional statement looks like this: if P, then Q. P is the hypothesis. So, in the example below, our conditional statement is if it's raining, then I'll run back home. The part after if, so it's raining, that's our hypothesis. And our conclusion, Q, is the part after then. So Q would be I'll run back home. Now we got the converse. So the converse of a conditional statement would just have the P and the Q swapped. So it would be if Q, then P. And going back to the statement I made before, the converse of that statement would be if I run back home, then it's raining. And the converse of a conditional statement does not have to always be true. So in this case, the converse of our original statement might not be true because I might be running back home to get exercise in. I might be running back home because I might be chased by somebody. I might have to run back home because there might be a natural disaster. So there could be all these reasons why I could be running back home. Now, if the converse and the original statement of a conditional statement is true, then we have something called a biconditional. So let's go take a look at an example of one. So our statement is going to be that if a triangle is equilateral, then all its sides are congruent. Yeah, that's true. An equilateral triangle has all of its sides congruent. The converse of that, well, we know it's going to be if Q, then P. So the conclusion and the hypothesis is going to be swapped. So now our converse is if all the sides of a triangle are equal, or if all the sides of a triangle are congruent, then the triangle is equilateral. And you see how both our original statement and converse is true? Well, if we have a biconditional statement, then we can express this statement using if and only if. So in this case, we would say that a triangle is equilateral if and only if all its sides are congruent. And that implies that the original statement is true and the converse is true. Now, let's move on to the inverse. So, one thing you got to know before learning the inverse is the not symbol or the negation symbol. The negation symbol is used to indicate whatever's it's placed in front of is not true. So it's the opposite truth value. Now, if we were to go back to our original statement, so if it's raining, then I'll run back home. If we were to negate the P, so if we were to negate the hypothesis, then it would be if it's not raining, then I'll run back home. Now, the inverse is just the original statement with everything negated. So it would be if the negation of P, then the negation of Q. And our original statement was if it's raining, then I'll run back home. Now, the inverse of that statement would be if it's not raining, then I won't run back home. Now, the contrapositive is kind of like a combination of the converse and the inverse. So, This statement is if not Q, then not P. And see how the P and the Q, the hypothesis and the conclusion are swapped? And just like an inverse, everything's negated. So my original statement is if it's raining, then I'll run back home. And that's true. That means because the statement, the contrapositive, is logically equivalent to our original statement, the contrapositive is if I don't run back home, then it's not raining. The contrapositive will also be true. And that's it, everyone. I hope y'all enjoyed the video and have a nice day.